YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in the Southern Chaos Waste, where we're going to be looking at a Nagarythe versus Bretonnia battle. It's going to be an interesting one from Nagarythe here. I see some Shadow Walkers, and we've also got the Regiment of Renowned Shadow Warriors, I believe, is the unit. Yeah, let's find them over here. So, yeah, the Gray, which is our Shadow Warriors. Very cool unit here. Master Ambusher. The Shadow Walkers, remember, poison melee attack, poison missile attack, long range, and and they also have an anti-infantry in their weapon strength, so it's gonna be pretty interesting. We do have a Lethanar, of course, leading the Nagarythe army, so very cool there. A Shadow Mage with Pendulum, and looks like maybe Enfeebling Foe? No, Mystifying Miasma, so good choice. It slows down, does a little damage. Good choice against Cavalry. Good choice against Cavalry indeed. Let's take a look at the Bretonnian army here, led up by Peasant Mob, a couple of Foot Squires, and then we're going to see some Peasant Bows. The artillery is giving them a bit of a savaging. A lot of Peasant Bows here. Seven Peasant Bowmen? Wow. Yeah, boy, the Bretonnians are selling out on the Bowmen. They do have the Companion of Kinel, and they're going to have King Lewin out here on Beaky, and then a few men-at-arms and a field trebuchet in the back. So the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is going to have some pretty ripe target situations here. You can see it's already done some pretty massive damage. Got the Gray over here firing at the Peasant Bowmen. It's a good choice. Those Peasant Bowmen are a pretty big threat to the High Elves here, so they're going to need to be gotten rid of. The Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is defended by a Spearman. There's a line of 4 Spearmen here. In the back, we have another standard archer unit. There's a Phoenix Guard, and then it looks like some Illyrian Reaver, Silver Helm, and a War Lion. And then over here, another Illyrian Reaver. So I like the cheap cavalry just to kind of keep things at bay, and give you a few more numbers and a little more mobility in this fight. Gonna need it. Let's see, here comes the Shadow Mage. Good target for the Shadow Mage would be something like the Foot Squires or the Companions of Kinel. If you can get a clean shot at them. There's gonna be a transformation of Kaidan here, which is gonna summon a Feral Manticore for Bretonnia from the Damsel of Beast. Seems like an odd thing for such a dainty and fair lady to be doing, summoning a feral monster to be to attack her enemies. Got the Spearman here holding against Peasant Mob. That won't be a problem. This will be a problem. I would assume that this Feral Manticore is going to be difficult to stop from getting into this fight, and I assumed correctly. Look at this. Nice shots into the Foot Squires by the Shadow Walkers, slowing them down. This Shadow Walker is going to have to be careful, though. It definitely does not want to end up in a ranged fight with Peasant Bows, because it'd be very difficult for them to pay off, that being the case. This Phoenix Guard is going to be a curious unit here, too. If the Elves can control the Peasant Bows, and we do have a nice maneuver here by the Silver Helms, which is just selling out to get damage into the Peasant Bows, and it does draw in the Companion to Kina. Now, this would be a great place to get a Pendulum in here. There's a lot of enemy units. I don't know whether we're going to see it from the Pendulum, but it certainly would be an appropriate... Oh my gosh, just a beautiful Pendulum. Could rip through here, cause all kinds of damage, but it does not look like it's going to happen from the Shadow Mage, at least not at the moment. The initial assault beat back here. Oh my gosh, such a beautiful Pendulum. But now these units aren't stuck here, per se. I mean, they might take a minute to get out of there. Let's see, look at this. The Shadow Walkers just... Yeah, here it comes, here it comes. A little bit later than I expected, but too juicy of a target to pass up. Even still, look at that. 2 Bowman units basically destroyed. Very nice. Shadow Mage needs to fall back. Get away from these Companions of Kinel. There is support for the Reavers here by the Phoenix Guard. Yeah, nice call by the Reavers. Just fall back. Let the Companions get a Melkoth's Miasma and a face full of Phoenix Guard. But Lewin can, of course, just fly straight over that. The Shadow Mage will need to stick close to these Reavers. And then the Shadow Walkers love the poison support here. And then you got your standard archer unit. This flank holding up very nicely. Look, here comes the War Lions. They're going to try and punch through some of these Spearmen and probably try and get at the Bowmen, but they're being hit by some pox arrows. That'll certainly slow down their progress. Here comes the Moonbow by Lethanar. Hits the Damsel. And another Feral Manticore trying to finish off the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. The Shadow Walker is pretty close to this. I don't know if they intended to be in melee here. They certainly don't want to be. They've got ammunition left, and every unit model that dies with ammunition, it's a big loss. Is this a Pendulum? Yeah, it is. Look at it. It's like the ground was like pointing it up in the air, but a little bit misaimed here. Great idea, but a little bit off target. Should have been a little more down that line right there, but, you know, still not a bad use of Pendulum so far on the whole. This Manticore is actually about to crumble, which is really good news for the Shadow Walkers because they don't need much more of this. Let's see, the peasant bows at this point, a lot of them left. Some of them came back from routing, but let's take a look at the leadership. We still have the damsel, and she put an amber spear straight through about 7 or 8 of these Illyrian Reavers right there, so that was quite the poke there. I think that was an amber spear. That's what it looked like. Yeah, it was an amber spear right into the side of it, so nice play there. Very good angle. And the damsel of beast may have just saved a whole bunch of her bowmen by hitting those Illyrian Reavers. Lewin over here is owning, and the Phoenix Guard is now in a fight with multiple units. Foot Squire is not a very strong unit. They'll do okay for their cost against the Phoenix Guard, but they're a pretty weak unit, and they're under fire from the Gray. And then, rest in pieces, Foot Squires. Rest in pieces. They got owned. So there was the Pendulum. Pendulum is extremely effective. Look at this, an Illyrian Reaver over here, not even used yet by Nagarythe. I'm sure we'll see that. And then here's a fresh Spearman that came over from the other flank too. Bretonnia definitely not out of the fight though. Lewin is still in good shape. There are bowmen out here regrouping. There are some lions, and these lions would do well to get out here and shoot through as many bowmen as possible. Definitely don't want this going on. Unshielded Phoenix Guard taking shots from bowmen. That's just going to be unnecessary damage and deaths to them because they can't block it. They do have decent armor, but armor aside, they're going to take some damage. Look at this. You've now got the Trebuchet remanned as well. But here comes that Illyrian Reaver. One flank cleaned here, and honestly, Nagarythe should be looking pretty good here. Well, except for Lewin. You still got to deal with Lewin. So actually, never mind. That's going to be quite the challenge. It's going to be quite the challenge indeed, because Elite Anar is certainly not going to do much about it. The War Lions do have AP, but they're an anti-infantry unit. Nice play here by the Shadow Walkers to slow Lewin down while he's on the ground. You can see he really wants to get back in the air, and he probably will. You can see the Shadow Mage, the War Lions, the Gray. The Gray do have poison attacks. This could be big right here. Getting blobbed up, but oh, look at this play here. The Illyrian Reavers just savaging the Peasant Archer line. Illyrian Reavers, really a nice light cavalry unit, probably an underestimated light cavalry unit. Their charge bonus is very good for being a light cavalry unit. They're a shock cavalry, despite being light, and so they do deal a lot of damage on the charge. Lewin taking a savaging here. Now he's dishing one in return, and yeah, he's going to get out of this combat here. He's just, even with the poison, I don't know if there's anything that can hold him here, so this is bad news for Nagarythe. No more ammunition for Elite Anar, but he's being used to help clean up some of this infantry. Good play here. These are the standard archers. These are not the Shadow Walker or Warrior variants. Illyrian Reaver's going to get to the Trebuchet. This will also be a big play. That Trebuchet could make a big difference on blobs, and you can see it firing towards this one right now. Unit's slightly blobbed here. A couple of minor hits. Nothing too bad. We're going to see another Amber Spear, I think, maybe. Yep, here comes the Amber Spear. Oof. Yeah, it cut right into the middle of those units. It's another good shot by the damsel. Lewin down on the ground again. I don't know what's going to hold him here, though. You got the miasma, so that'll help. That's going to slow him down. Illyrian Reaver just absolutely owning out here. There goes the Trebuchet. Oh my gosh, this is going to be close. It's going to be hard for them to get rid of Lewin right here, especially if a few archers can get back in and provide some support fire. I don't know how many more Amber Spears that the damsel can crank out, but those would certainly be useful right now in terms of just firing them into this blob. You may need the damsel's help with some rear charges here, so you may want to consider moving the damsel in. Look at this, War Lion still alive. This is bad news for Bretonnia. Yeah, the Illyrian Reavers and the War Lions still being alive is very bad news for Bretonnia because regrouping units are going to be hit with the charge of shock cavalry. That was a gorgeous Amber Spear, and it got a lot of kills from the damsel. That was absolutely beautiful. What a play. I mean, that couldn't have been much better. I think it's about 50 kills for the Amber Spear, and that is huge because Lewin is really doing a lot of damage in this fight. He just needs to get rid of some of these Phoenix Guardsmen. Oh, it's going to be close. He makes it back in the air, but there's not much left on the ground. But the damsel is, so Lewin's not going to be forced to land just yet. And if he gets a nice charge in, the backing of these infantry units, this could be a pretty deadly moment. He's going to hit by the miasma again, which is going to slow him down. Not going to do a ton of damage to him in terms of direct damage, but it'll slow him down. And now you got even just a bit of infantry support can be really good for Lewin because he can use his charges here to greater effect. And then it makes me wonder if there's another Amber Spear, and if it's well fired like that last one, it could actually win the battle, potentially. Oh boy, you have to watch out for Terror now too with Lewin dive bombing this crowd. You do have a Lethanar right there, but he is almost dead. He's using Slippery, which is a good idea. Give him a little extra melee defense. This is a very close fight, folks. This is a very close fight. Here comes the damsel. I'm going to assume she is out of magic at this point. She's coming charging in here without firing off another Amber Spear, because that sure as heck worked out good for her last time. Remember, Lewin heals, and he's still got a decent healing cap here, and as long as these units are on the ground, he can attempt to get back in the air. Yeah, here comes more units from Bretonnia. Look at this, a peasant bow coming out from the flanks. That Illyrian Reaver now caught up in combat. I don't know if this bowman's going to make it back up here. We'll see. There's a terror route. This is really bad news for Nagarythe. Terror routes across the board, mostly. Oh, boy. Yeah, look at this. Bretonnia going to shut it down. Not having it. Bretonnia shutting it down. Not taking that. Lewin refusing to give up. What a battle here by Consulate Rome and Bob. This was awesome. Left me wondering who was going to win this one right up until the very end. What an awesome fight. Yeah, that was fantastic. And I love the play here by this Illyrian Reaver. That was incredible. I mean, just really nice play behind the line. Cool use of the Shadow Walkers and the Shadow Warriors here in the form of the Grey, the single Phoenix Guard, to try and add some tankiness. But boy, you can end up in a situation like that as the High Elves in this particular build, where you just don't have a good answer to that single entity monster. And Lewin is a monster in melee unless you have the right stuff, because he's healing and he does a ton of damage and he terrifies, has a big charge. It's rough. I felt like very nice dealing with the Companion of Canel by Consulate Rome, and a couple of nice pendulums. I would have loved to have seen a pendulum. Now, of course, this is coming from a guy who makes plenty of mistakes in battles myself, so, take it with a grain of salt. But it would have been cool to see that pendulum come a little earlier in that fight, where I think the Reavers, or Silverhelms 1, had gone and caused a big blob in Bretonnia. Could have gotten a ton of kills there, but obviously he was busy working somewhere else. But nice persistence here by the Bretonnia player. To me, it felt like Bretonnia had lost this on multiple occasions. That Amber Spear from the damsel towards the end there was absolute clutch. That was great. I mean, it looks like 50 kills. That definitely could have swung the difference one way or the other here, potentially. I don't know, but potentially. And so the damsel here with a big play on the Amber Spear, not something we see used against melee blobs a lot, but those missile attacks will do a lot of damage if you can get them the right angle into a blob. Definitely, and they can also be useful against single entities. So fantastic play from both players. Really appreciated this one. Thanks for Consulate Rome sending it in. Hope you all enjoyed it. Folks, I'm going to be signing out for now. If you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you do want to see more content, you can even click the bell. YouTube will maybe notify you. I guess you never know. And keep an eye out for more content. I'll be back with the campaigns. We're going to be trying to finish up the Empire Gun campaign next week. The Grom campaign will continue. I'm at least trying to get it out once a week right now. I will attempt to get it out twice a week if possible. And then, of course, I think last week I played a little bit of Surviving the Aftermath. I'm going to probably keep doing some things like that, just putting stuff up. It's a different game every now and then. May try and get together an Age of Empires 3 game on the Discord or something like that, just for fun, too. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to try and mix it up. Plenty of Total War content. Main content will be Total War, but just think it'll be fun to mix in some other stuff like that. HeirofCarthage signing up for now. Hope to see you all soon.